Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my first impressions look on the Nike Zoom Freak 3. So this is Giannis Antetokounmpo's third signature shoe with the Nike brand, and it's going for 120 bucks, so they kept it the same price. If you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. This colorway is available. There is also another orange colorway coming out soon. I'd probably wait for the orange one. It looks a lot better than this colorway in my opinion. But anyways, let's get it started off with the tracciones, right? So apparently this is like a heat mapped pattern, and I feel like Nike always says this. The grooves are just very long lines, right? And they're just super thin. So as far as the durability goes, I don't think the durability is going to be very good. Like when I press it with my fingers, the rubber does seem pretty hard, but I don't know, like it's just so damn thin that I don't think durability, especially on the outdoor court, is going to be very good. As far as the stock goes, how does it feel on my wood floor so far? It feels pretty good, right? Hopefully it gets better, and there's also not a whole lot of squeak to it. There's just a little bit of squeak sometimes. I feel like it might be one of those shoes where you need to break it in and starts getting a little bit squeakier once you start playing with it a lot more. But as of right now, I am a little bit disappointed in the traction. Hopefully it gets a lot better. Also, this design is pretty decoupled, especially looking at it here in the middle of the shoe. And then the rubber kind of dips up into the midsole, especially from this forefoot part. So that's a pretty interesting aesthetic. As far as the heel to toe transition goes, it feels very smooth. So here in the heel, there is a very curved shape, very rounded, so it doesn't feel clunky. And we have pretty much a fully exposed midsole. And then here in the forefoot, we have a nice curved shape. You just put a little bit of force here into the toe and just tips over. And then here in the forefoot, we have a lot of forefoot flex. So heel to toe transition right now feels pretty damn smooth. Alright, moving on to the cushioning setup. So they changed it up a little bit, I would say, than the previous model, the Zoom Freak 2. So we have pretty much a full length phylon, so that's not very nice. And then here in the heel, I guess there's a little bit of compression. So let's go over the step in comfort though, right? So the step in comfort, so I guess the insole, there's Giannis Antetokounmpo's logo, and there's some, like, I guess, years, right? And then as far as the insole goes, I would say it's just a regular Ortholite insole. But then underneath the insole, we have the strobo board, and the strobo board is just insanely stiff. And the step in comfort is not very nice, right? And also, if you look at the dismantling of the Zoom Freak 3, we can see that there are two forefoot zoom units, right? And they look rather large, but there is some foam in between your foot and the zoom units. So it's not like a zoom strobo unit where the zoom unit's right underneath your foot, which kind of sucks. So it doesn't really feel like super bouncy right now. And also the zoom unit is pretty much encased in this foam, right? And also we have this plastic part here on the lateral side of the shoe. It's pretty cool because it does say air zoom, and there is a little window where you can see the zoom fibers. So that's actually a pretty cool aesthetic. But because of all of this caging, that's not going to allow the zoom unit to compress all too much, like especially comparing it to the LeBron Witness 5. The LeBron Witness 5 is kind of similar as far as the overall setup goes, but it's not caged. The zoom unit is pretty much fully exposed on both the lateral and medial side of the shoe, but that's not the case here in the Zoom Freak 3. So as far as the zoom unit goes here in the forefoot, you can't really feel anything all too much. Hopefully once I start playing, and also when I break in the shoe, I can feel it a little bit more. But as far as right now, just walking around and stuff like that, I can't really feel it all too much. One cool thing about the Zoom Pod though is if you look from, I guess, the back of the lateral side, there is a hole, and you can kind of see the zoom unit there as well. And then here in the heel, it's phylon, so I mean there's a little bit of compression, so that's, I guess that's kind of nice. But like I said, the step in comfort is just pretty stiff with that strobo board. So the overall cushioning setup from my first impressions is pretty disappointing, I would say, right? And to be honest, I wasn't really expecting all too much, but I thought the forefoot zoom unit would be a little bit nicer. But I guess the good thing though is that it feels like a responsive cushioning setup, and it is low to the ground, but that's pretty much it. Nothing else feels very like special or unique with this cushioning setup. Alright, moving on to the materials. I would say the materials are one of my favorite parts about the shoe right now, right? So here in the toe box, it's just extremely thin and extremely soft as well. There's a tiny bit of stretch to it, but it still feels pretty supportive. There is a little bit of fuse here in the tip of the toe box for extra added durability and support. So yeah, on foot, it feels awesome, super comfortable, very minimal and all that. Coming up here into the midfoot area, alright, so we have this strap, right? And my friend saw this and she was like, what is this like melted comb thing on top of the shoe? So I was like, It kind of does look like a melted comb. I don't really like how the strap looks aesthetically. Here on the right pair, it says Freak on the medial side of the strap. And then here on the left pair, this is actually pretty cool. It says Nike, and then there are a series of Nike swooshes kind of going in like a half circle. So that's pretty cool. But the overall strap, for functionality, it doesn't really do anything, and aesthetically, I don't really think it looks too good. so there's a strap there, and then underneath the strap, so here on the left pair, it says, what does it say? I am my father's legacy. And then here on the right pair, I believe it has all the names of Giannis's family. Yes, so that's pretty cool, I guess, underneath the strap. And then coming up here into the ankle area, so the tongue, we have a very large tongue, and that's kind of like a quilted vibe. There are a series of stitches here on top of the tongue, and then there is a good amount of padding, so that feels really nice and comfortable and cozy on top of your foot. Also, the tongue is a half booty construction tongue, which gives you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, we have a good amount of padding as well. You know, it feels nice and cozy, not too much or anything like the Dawn issue line, just the right amount for me personally. And all of the padding is on top of the ankle, you know, so that'll of course help with lockdown. And then on the tongue, here on the right pair, we have a key with Giannis's logo. And then here on the left pair, we have like a lock, which is pretty interesting. And then here on the lateral and medial side in the ankle area, we have a reverse swoosh, which is embroidered onto the shoe. So as far as the overall materials go, I really like it, especially here in the toe box. And for 120 bucks, I feel like the quality isn't terrible, and on foot, like I said, it feels great. And it just feels like his previous two shoes where you know, you have a very thin material here in the toe box, and you have a good amount of padding, and it feels very cozy and comfortable because of the tongue and also the padding here in the ankle area. Alright, moving on to the fit, I went true to size and it fits my foot very, very well, right? So my toes pretty much go right to the edge of the shoe, and as far as the toe space goes, it's a pretty snug fit, nothing too tight or anything, but it's a nice snug fit. I like it. And then for the width, I would say it's a normal width. Actually, that's pretty interesting because I thought it'd be very, very narrow looking at it, but it wasn't squeezing my foot or anything, so I would say it's around the normal fit. So fit for me is really good. If you have a wide foot or you like to have a roomier fit in your shoe, I would suggest going up half a size or maybe even a full size because it is a snug fit. We'll have to see on how this material reacts when I break it in, because I think it might, you know, stretch out a little bit. So we'll have to see on that and wait for the full performance review. Here in this shoe, there is no heel tab though. You know, there actually is a little dip in the back of the heel to kind of like hug your Achilles, I guess. But it is kind of hard to put this shoe on. You know, I do miss having a heel tab. You know, a lot of shoes nowadays have heel tabs, so that kind of sucks that it doesn't have it, but that's not a huge deal and it doesn't really affect performance. All right, moving on to the support and lockdown. So for lateral containment, I feel like you're gonna be good, right? So here in the forefoot, we have the foam coming up a good amount, and also the caging doesn't really do anything. And to be honest, I don't know why they put this plastic caging here. It's Phylon. It's not like a soft foam, so you don't really need to cage the foam. And the foam just comes up anyway, so you don't really need it as a lateral counter either. So I feel like this plastic piece is kind of useless as far as from a functionality standpoint. But anyways, forefoot, you should be good to go. Here in the heel, the foam does come up as well. And then here in the ankle area, you have a lot of the foam coming up and an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment, you're probably going to be good. I mean, it is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's doing Euro steps. He's going to need a lot of support in his shoes, right? So there's the lateral containment there. As far as the lateral stability, this shoe is extremely wide. There's really no outrigger, but just look how much the foam protrudes out here on the lateral side of the shoe in the forefoot. So it's a very low and wide base, so I feel like lateral containment is going to be good. And also another pretty weird thing on the foam here on the medial side, we have like a zigzag pattern. I don't really know what this is, but cool, I guess, right? All right, as far as the weight goes, I feel like it's gonna be around like 12 and a half ounces. Oh, okay, so 11.82 ounces. Let's check the other pair. 11.82 ounces, right? So pretty much the exact same weight. And 11.82 ounces is pretty light. The average weight of my shoes is around 12 and a half ounces. So does it feel light? It feels pretty damn light and pretty minimal, especially because of the upper. But like it also, I don't know, I thought it would be a little bit heavier, which is pretty interesting, but I'm actually pretty surprised at the weight. And also hopefully the traction is good. You know, right now it doesn't feel like it's going to be the best. But other than that, I feel like it's going to be a responsive shoe. As far as the aesthetics go, I don't know if it's just this colorway, but I really hate how this shoe looks. I really like how the Immortality looks, and a lot of you guys agree as well. So anyways, aesthetically I don't like it all too much. I guess I do like the orange colorway though, but that's just because of the colorway. I feel like the aesthetics and the overall silhouette of the shoe, it's not my favorite. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the Zoom Freak 3, I feel like it's going to be pretty good. It's probably going to be a pretty good shoe, to be honest, but nothing really stands out for me. The traction hopefully gets better. The cushion, nothing really special. Hopefully the forefoot gets bouncier and all that, but I don't think it will. The materials feel nice and thin and very cozy here in the ankle area. Support, I don't think there's going to be any issues. So yeah, as far as my first impressions go, it feels pretty good. But anyways, again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.